I'd like you to have a look, first of all, remember what it was that you did last time we looked at this problem. Read through your work, remember your method, work out what it was that you did. Then I'd like you to try and answer some of the questions that I posed at the bottom of the paper. 5-10 minutes, off you go.
Andrew starts his lesson by returning the pupils' work on the counting trees task. He wants to see how pupils respond to his written feedback.
Well, we were given comments on our work and we had to think about the comments and almost give a bit of feedback to our feedback and think about ways we could use these comments to improve our work.
I got stuff like, is this the only method? And this made me think more out of the box, can I look at anything else and get a more accurate answer?
It said, does your method description make sense? And because I haven't seen this actual, what I wrote for a while, I looked at it and to me it didn't make as much sense. So I looked at it and interpreted it again and learned how to improve it so that someone who hadn't seen it before could read it and understand it all.
And I got how reliable are your answers?
Yeah,
so sort of ways that you could make it more accurate, ways you could improve things, use different methods to make it more accurate.
I think it definitely helped them revisiting, because I gave them that 5 minutes at the beginning. I asked them to read through what they'd done and try and understand it. I think that helped them a lot in terms of making sure that they understood the problem properly.
What was your original idea?
In an earlier lesson, Amy's class worked individually on the security cameras task. She now wants to see if they can improve their reasoning by working together to produce a joint solution.
Because I only worked out where it's going to miss, but she did all the divisions and stuff, 15% of the whole of it.
You found the actual percentage. Are you happy with how she found that out?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so what's this kind of solution you come up with then between at the minute?
And then he couldn't see F, H, but now he can see H and F.
So, in your new camera position, what can't they see?
3 squares.
Okay. Wonderful. You're going to have a go explaining your suggestions?
Yeah, I ain't wrote a lot, but...
No, everything counts.
He thinks this covers more area, and I think that one, my point, covers more area, because he's saying you can't see those two on that square, but those together are 15% you can't see. If you move it to the middle, if it's there, there's only 10% you can't see, so there's one less, so you'll be able to cover more of the shop.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you have it there, it's the only place that you can't see is in that corner. Right, so it's cutting that in half, so if you count the squares up, it equals about 2 squares that it's missing. But if you put it there, it's the same, roughly, right? But it's also on the opposite, so you're doubling it, in a way.
But it can see that half as well. But the only side it can't see is those the 2 corners. Unless you could have more cameras, then you could put say one there and one there, so it covers more of the area.
Your arguments, very, very good. Verbal arguments, wonderful. Have a think as well about how you're going to try and show them. Okay. Well done, lads, I'm impressed.
So, Freya and Ariana, would you be happy to go up and show us what you've done so far, please?
In Dominic's lesson, the pupils have been working on the cats and kittens task in pairs. Towards the end of the lesson, Dominic wants to assess how well pupils can communicate their reasoning.
Basically, we've got a timeline here for the 18 months, and we've got each of these dots is a litter, and the cat we worked out would have 6 litters. And although you could space these out, we did it like that because we're working out to see how many they could have at the most, because the question is it possible to have 2,000? And then each of these litters has 6 kittens, so that is 6, because this is for all of litter 1, which is here. That's 6 litters because they all had a litter each, and that goes across like that. So we worked out that would be 216 kittens for litter 1, and the cat would have 36, and litter 2 would also have 216, and litter 3 would only have 180 because they have to wait 4 months before they can get pregnant, and then it's 2 months before the kittens are born. So, and they were born quite late, a bit later on in the 18 months, so they would be they would have less litters, so, and that would be 180, and then litter 4 would only have 1 litter because of when they were born, and litter 5 and 6 wouldn't have any litters, and that's as far as we've got, but basically we're going to keep the process like that.
Has anybody got any questions about the work that the 2 girls have done? No? Can I ask you a question, girls? What assumptions have you made right from the very start, from the very first litter that your cats had?
We assumed that the cat was already pregnant and already 4 months old at the 0 months, because otherwise she'd have to wait 4 months till they could have kittens and everything.
And we also assumed that because it says in each litter there's 4 to 6 cats, we assumed that there was 6 cats in each litter.
Excellent. What about those 6 cats? What did you also assume about those 6 little kittens that were born?
We assumed that they also had 6 cats and that they would have it every 2 months as well, and that, yeah.
Okay. Have you got a question there?
I was going to say, would all the kittens be girls then?
No, because it says the descendants, and it'd still be descendants if they were boys.
Okay, fantastic. The things I like about yours is just looking at your diagram. I didn't really need you to start explaining it, because to me it looks very clear what your thinking is already. So I really liked the diagram that you've drawn. I also like the fact that your timeline that you've decided to go for is very clear to understand as well. Okay, off you go then, please.
Well, we started with the starting cat, mum, and how many litters she has each time, which by the 18 months she'd have 24. We then added all the totals together and we got to 1,824.
Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions about their method? Oh, yes, Caitlin.
How many kittens did you assume were in each litter?
We assumed 6 was since 6 was the max. If we did the maximum and we got over 2,000, then it would be fairly realistic.
Just before we finish,
At the end of her lesson, Amy is trying to find out how the pupils have used her feedback to improve their work.
you know the comments I've given you in writing at the beginning of the lesson, and also the questions I've asked you throughout the lesson. What's helped you? What hasn't helped you? Andrew?
You kind of made us put that what we've already got down, so that we think what isn't on the sheet, but think about what you could put on, if you know what I mean. As in,
so I made you think of some things
outside the box. Think differently.
Like that. Let's go to Daniel then.
It's about where he told me to put the camera, because since I put it in the middle of the shop, he told me, can I prove that this is the best position? And I thought about it, and well, it did help me because I realised the best place to put it.
You told me to draw the diagram again, and I did, and it helped, because then we could see where we could see everywhere in the camera and stuff.
Fantastic.